we seem to be in the midst of an epidemic of cowardice in the modern world. And this might sound like something that is perhaps you've heard some sort of saying that is similar to this. But what I'm gonna try to refer to in this video is something that I haven't seen much people address it. Although I've seen some of it out there. But, I see people having strong opinions about certain things that happen in the world, The problems that are happening in the world, whatever it is. And I noticed something really interesting. A lot of people, they have a good idea of quote unquote how things work, so to speak. Like the patterns of evil, if I think this is the most accurate word, like how tyrannical forces oppress and whatnot. But then the pattern that I want to address here is that I keep observing that a lot of these people, even though they have a good idea of how these things work, sometimes they almost always fail to notice obvious things. They fail to assign the proper position, so to speak, meaning that they fail to notice who actually the tyrant is and who actually is the victim and stuff like that. Even though they might describe the patterns properly to a certain extent, And what I have noticed is that the main cause of this is the lack of courage. It's cowardice. Because what I notice is that people who are aware of these patterns, but they always look at them out there, somewhere out there, usually far away, in this war that is happening somewhere in the world, or that group of people, or that president, or that. They always see it outside of themselves, outside of somewhere there. But they don't realize that the same forces that are in operation there, in whatever group they have deemed bad or wrong, those same patterns, those same forces are operating in your life, in your personal life, in your family, in your workplace, all around you. And it seems like a coping mechanism for the lack of courage in the individual, lack of courage to still see the pattern, but always out there. They never want to see how they have been tyrannized, how they have actually been victimized, and by whom. Right? It's always something out there, the Jews or the whatever people, And it's so gay, for the lack of another word. It's so pusillanimous. Because if you look for those patterns in your milieu, you will find them. And then necessarily, it's also, if you truly allow yourself to see them, then there's a call to action. There's a call to do something about it. Which most of the time, thankfully, it's actually not as hard as it might seem when you're in it. When you're in it, it can be tormentous. I know that by personal experience. But it's actually not hard at all. It's as simple as just getting out of that bullshit. But it's mostly internal. Even if you had to be physically in the world surrounded by these idiots, you can actually overcome it internally. 99% of the time, when you overcome it internally, then also outwardly it reflects. And you basically just cut that type of people off your life. It's that simple. So yeah, pay attention if you have these emotional reactions to some people out there somewhere in the world. Because it's you usually not having that emotional reaction about those people. You're having it about your own I don't know what to call it, milieu. And you're being a coward. And that's good, because that's a call. That's it, the calling. If you don't like the injustice that you see outside, somewhere there in the world, then great, you fix it. Not outside, not out there. You fix it in your life. A lot of people do that because precisely they know in the back of their minds that they cannot do anything about what is happening out there in the world. So they pretend that the problem is there, so they don't have to do anything. They keep allowing themselves to be enslaved. And the moment they get a little bit of power, worldly power, then they become the enslavers. Because that's how the world works. It's so pathetic. Sad. So it sounds a bit, tried and cliche, but look for those problems in your life first and solve them from there. And it's mind-blowing to see people who have like high, I don't know what to call it, high social standing or whatever, high status in the world, whatever you want to call it, like worldly power, still being so weak. It's mind-blowing. And it's like the world is sinking in that. It's truly, it seems to be the norm. And what I've noticed is that mostly comes from the family. Like people have little secrets about their family, little things that happen that they never confronted. And they think it's fucking normal. They think it's somehow normal to be a fucking coward. And they give their power away to those groups or those people that they are supposedly against from, and they give them their power. I mean, just by giving them the attention, in a way they give them some power. They give away the power that they do have, which is to confront those things in their personal lives, in their lives. So if you don't like, how certain group of people are oppressing other people, or whichever side of the equation is, right? Because a lot of people, what they don't want to see is that all tyrants are slaves and all slaves are tyrants. They're two sides of the same corrupted coin. So you have the same type of bullshit in both sides, right? So you have the, I don't know, people who are poorer or something like that, always looking at those who are higher in the social hierarchy as if they are the problem, as if they are the ones that the root of the evils in the world. And then it also happens the other way around, which people don't mention that as most. There are people who maybe are doing better off economically or whatever, and then they think that the problems are the poor people, because the poor people don't do this or don't do that, or they're this or that. And it's the same type of fucking cowardice. It's amazing. It's mind-blowing. And as far as I've seen, it always comes back to their family, and it always comes back to an act of cowardice within your own family. 99% of the time. Even if it's not your family, then it's something on your own circle. I've seen so many people being tyrannized by some fucking idiot, and they just don't allow themselves to see it. And then they project it out somewhere far away so they can remain there without doing shit. It's truly something. Anyways, that's it for now.